All right, it's running.
Stupid, isn't it?
No, I love it. I love it.
Because I was pushing my shoulder because they come with him and I go, hello!
Here we go.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, I don't. It's taking a while.
Seagulls get around.
Voila. So, thanks guys. Thank you so much. So we're just going to tell you a bit about our Portheleven experience and what it was for us, and a little bit about what Kelly has asked us to say. We'll start, Tom.
Sure. I mean, I think broadly people know what the residency was. It was 3 weeks. So there's a 1 week first portion of residency, and there's a break. People make submissions to do the second 2 week portion of the residency, and that's really what we're talking about. Is that second 2 week portion, and I think won't go into the details about applications and all that. More about what the experience was like. And Natalie and I and Kelly all talked and had kind of similar thoughts and feelings about it. And one of the first things was, what's special about it is that you are so physically removed from the regular university course that it creates this kind of like freedom in terms of headspace. You're able to kind of park all the other stuff you're working on and just focus on this very specific experience and the work that you want to make in this very specific environment. And the environment itself is so forceful and physically in your face that your attention is like, I'm somebody who gets stuck in my own head, but your attention is constantly pulled outwards. One of the examples I give of that is there's a picture in the corner there of the beach in the morning with the waves coming in, and I kind of looked out the window and I didn't really have any choice but to go climb along a rock wall with waves coming in and hitting the wall and just trying to be high up enough that I wouldn't get hurt. But I didn't really have a choice. Like the environment kind of pulls you in. That's my first thoughts.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that, but we felt like there was a framework around that. So my experience is very much about going in the water. That was an individual experience. I could go in when I wanted and just sort of take my own take on Portheleven, experience Portheleven my way with the people and the community that were there. But Kelly created this, or they created this framework in which we could safely work. And within that framework there was always somebody to sort of bump into if we were confused. And we just had this opportunity to sort of go our own way, throw out our own net to see what came back and have a really good dialogue about what came back. So about freedom to explore and a framework, opportunities for a lot of collaboration with individuals, collaboration with community, collaboration with amazing tutors that came down, dressed as a Portuguese man of war and a hedge. So that was knocked my seagull into a bit of a sort of, seemed tame. And the other thing is, I think we're going to talk about like what we brought back. You can go.
Well, I mean, I think just I want to say too, like the collaboration piece. I think particularly when you have 2 whole weeks there, there's this great duality between an opportunity to work with people. So Crow and David, who were part of the orchestra just now, we're on that second 2-week residency as well, and Sanika and Ellie and Claire and Gatso and Dan were on the first one as well, so they'd be able to relate to this. There's a lot of opportunity to be sort of like held up by your classmates and to do collaborations that you normally wouldn't do. Like you would not normally catch me pretending to be the ocean or an onion, both of which I did for lengthy periods of time. But partly that was enabled by the fact that I also had the time to go off and do my thing and sort of, center my practice around what I wanted to work on. And that notion of there being a framework and being sort of protected, it wasn't like you were holding back protected. It was like you had the freedom to go try things, and you would feel safe that you're either going to succeed, or if it doesn't succeed, you're not going to fall flat on your face or drown in the ocean or something. And I think a lot of my feelings about what I wanted to produce were part of sort of a quid pro quo. Like I'm being given a lot of support, both in terms of like being able to be there in the first place, in terms of having tutors come down, in terms of having really good collaborators. The quid pro quo was I kind of owed something, and that was that. In terms of what we brought back, I think, Natalie didn't make that. Didn't physically make it, but I think what we both came back with was sort of like this wealth of kind of experience that's informed most of the work. But a lot of the work we've done since we got back. None of the, silver printing stuff could have been done in Portheleven. The blueprinting and cyanotyping stuff was done on site, but it's kind of inspired a bunch more work. Like these little guys made from my little man that I found in Portheleven. That didn't happen there. So I find like it's sort of inspiring a lot of the work that we've done since then, and that will inform the shows moving in the summer.
Yeah, I feel what I brought back is this sort of not ever having to come out of that creative space. You could just immerse yourself, stay in it, do what I want. It's the first time in 26 years I've had absolutely nobody to worry about. And I think that space, that freedom, what do I want, what do I need, where am I going to go, is just so liberating. So I can't possibly say that what I'm doing now is not inspired by Portheleven. It was very formative. And then we said, what's our biggest regret?
Yeah.
What did you say?
So my biggest regret was when you come back and people who did the first residency and the second residency will know this, you should probably take some time to decompress because it's a pretty intense experience, and I didn't do that. I turned around and started working again right away. So my big takeaway was, if I do this again, I won't do this again. I think that's impossible. But if I did something like this again, or if anybody else is doing it, it's very much a case of when you're done, give yourself some time to recover when you get back. And Natalie's takeaway was...
What was my biggest mistake was coming back. But not really, So, there we go. Any questions about Portheleven? There we are. We've obviously wrapped it up well. Is that okay?
Robert.
Yeah, could you just say a little bit more about the piece, maybe how it came about, just how it came about?
Yeah, there's supposed to be this background piece that's going on, but I don't know what's happening. So my vision was always an orchestra of the sea. I came off the first residency when we were kind of thrashing about seaway, and I did kind of go down with that. So what do you hear or not hear underneath the water that you do hear above the water? So I was playing with that. So then I just went to record noises around the ocean, which still feels a little bit almost childish. But from that, Simone, who is the organiser, her boyfriend Miles was down there, and he is a sound mixer. So we were able to sort of get some sounds together, and I've got it on a recording, but there was something about the physicality, and a lot of it was inspired by Charlie and Claire coming down, and we had a walk across through the landscape, and it made us more immersive, and it made us think about what we're actually going to look like beyond what we're going to do. How do we take, I was thinking, how do I take Natalie completely out of that? And what does that sort of leave behind? Noises and images and visuals that sort of are outside me, that connect me with Portheleven. So that's sort of arose from that. I think it's very still formative, but it's fun.
Looks great.
Brilliant.
We'll have a break now, and then when do you want to stop? 10 minutes? So if we come back in 10 minutes, in 20 past. Great.
Thanks, Crow. I see you around.
Well done. That was a really professional delivery.
Thank you very much, because we've got nothing of that. So
Oh, I'm sure.
really appreciate you doing that.
It's fine.